Man, Tsugumomo episode 8 was great. The Great 8. Yes, that's what this should be called. Man, I don't know. I guess because this is a show where I don't go in with expectations because, I haven't been extremely impressed with all of the episodes, but some of them are good. When I started watching this, it just immediately made me happy. Like at the very beginning, literally from the start to the finish, this episode was great. At the very beginning, the scene with the dad wanting to watch his baseball game, man. Freaking Kirya was sitting there watching some very, very lame comedy. And he just walked up behind her and he was smiling and thinking about baseball. And she looked at him all crazy and he's like, well, there goes. Pulled out his radio. Did the old school way. Oh no. Man, that was so funny though. And that was just the start of the episode. Man. And this episode was not any big story, progression deal-ish type episode, which so far this series hasn't had a real general focus yet. Cause he's supposed to be like what do they call it, a Malison cleaner or something like that. But nothing really special has happened yet. It's just self-contained stories in different episodes. They haven't really had a big, connecting arc in this series yet. I'm sure they will eventually, but right now, it's just, separate stuff. Especially with this episode, it had two different sides to it. Like, I enjoy stuff like this from time to time. So, I'm glad that the show isn't completely like this, but they threw in an episode like this where there's just two separate stories in one episode, which was really fun. Like, and you could tell, you can tell when something's good because, they didn't use much dialogue at all in the first half of this episode, but I was really entertained because when they were using well, basically what they used in this episode were a bunch of images to convey a story for the first half of the episode. Like when a character was telling another character something, you wouldn't hear any voice acting, but you'd see like an image above their head in a bubble thinking about it. Like the sister was basically saying how flip. Give me a second. Kukuri. I almost messed that up. Kukuri was basically doing all the chopping and stuff and actually being a useful member of the house. And then the sister looked over at Kirya and she wasn't doing anything, and then she had the little bubble on the side of her head. I was going to say speech bubble, but there was no speech in it. But she had a little bubble on the side of her head that had pudding in it and then an X on it. So basically that was her saying, you're not going to get any more pudding if you don't work. It was hilarious. Also, what's with animes recently and the whole pudding thing? Like, has pudding really blown up or something? Because I haven't really liked it since I was 8, 9, something like that. It's just, I don't know. But I've seen it brought up in a bunch of anime lately, and it's weird. But, enough of that. Actually, no, not enough of that, because there's more pudding to be had in this episode. What happens is that Kirya actually starts acting like a decent human being, and she has to peel the potatoes, and Kazuya's sister sends him to the grocery store. And he takes those two with him. And here's the thing I'm still wondering about. Is it that because they're small now, they have childlike personalities? Or were they just always this way, but now their bodies reflect who they really are? Questions. I need answers. Because they argue like two small children. And they look like two small children, but they're not children. And it's just, it's kind of weird. But anyway, they go to the store, and yet another childlike scene. You have Kiriha sitting there crying because she can't have the pudding. And she started singing a pudding song. Like, this pushed the episode over the edge for me. Once the pudding song started, that was it for me. I said, well, there it is. This is going to be like my favorite episode. Oh, goodness, no. She started singing a pudding song, and all the people in the grocery store stood around just looking. And it really caught me off guard because there hadn't been much dialogue. So, with them just throwing in a song in there, it was awesome. Like, I was literally sitting here just, curled up laughing. It was so funny and entertaining, because I love when they throw music into stuff, like random songs into these anime. It's wonderful. And it's happening like this anime, and what else? The Seven Mortal Sins is happening there. Oh man, I enjoy it every time, because I'm a big fan of this type of stuff. But yeah, she basically made a full song about it. She was about to hit the second verse, and he ended up buying her some pudding to shut her up, which kind of, put a damper on me, because I wanted to hear that second verse. I bet it was going to be hot. She's going to start spitting bars. Oh, man. Yeah. And then Kukri wanted something too, but unlike Kiriha, Kukri actually acts like a kid that you'd want to have around. So she didn't make a big fuss about it and moved on. Then later on, after they eat dinner, you see that he bought the item because it was on the list of groceries anyway. So it was, that first half was really nice. Oh, also Kukri had a weird fantasy about being married to him too. That was a bit weird, but I let it slide. Oh man. But the first half, that was the first half, and it was great. And when they hit the second half, I was like, well, this is going to be different. I'm probably not going to care about it much. But no, it immediately came out of the gate with the hilarity. I think it's hilarity. Yes, that's what I'm going to use. It was so funny. Like the dude, his freaking loser best friend. Can't remember his name. It'll come to me in a second. But the loser guy, he was sitting there with a gang of chicks on him. Shiro was his name. Dude had a gang of chicks. And what was funny was the way that he was handling them, because he was like blowing on the one chick as he was talking. He was like, hey man. He's like, what do you want with me? It was so funny. And that's not exactly what he said, but that was basically the gist of it. Yeah, that had me cracking up. I was rolling. But basically, he had made an asamogi, I think is how you say that, out of a bottle of cologne. And when you sprayed it, it made you popular with chicks. Man. Oh, goodness. we would have spread that around and never ever destroyed that had it been me and my buddies. But you know, he was like, well, we can't just let it exist and you have to destroy it so you don't get the backlash from it. Which was weird because he was like, okay, and threw it down and it bounced up. But when Kazuya threw it later in the episode, it broke. That was really weird and really jacked up. I get that it had to do that because, you know, we had to see Kazuya with a gang of chicks on him. Well, the main girls. We had to see them on Senior Kazuya. Kazuya. Goodness, every time I say that now, I think about Tekken 7, which I don't plan on getting Tekken 7, at least not right now. But yeah, every time. Goodness, let me just ignore the Tekken. Anyway, yeah, he gets it spilled on him, and then he goes to take a bath. All the girls end up in the bath with him, and it's a scene that you would expect to happen if something like this happened. So it was hilarious. I enjoyed myself laughing about it. I still think his choice at the end to destroy the item was crazy, but whatever, you know, it's whatever. It's an anime. It's not like he could actually decide to do something that the normal guy would do. I mean, there's not very many guys that would say, I have this thing that's going to attract all the chicks to me and I'm gonna destroy it. Also, how'd the bottle get filled again? I guess because it's like, instead of being an actual cologne bottle, man, it's like a spear or something, so it refills itself. That'd be useful too. Feel like, man, I'm almost out. Never mind. Let's go. Oh, man. But yeah, both halves of this episode were great. This is the first episode of the show that I liked the entire thing. Like, there was nothing, well, besides him breaking the bottle, but that's personal preference. Other than that, there was nothing about this episode that I disliked. It was actually a perfect episode. 5 out of 5. Perfect episode. Oh my goodness, excuse me. Don't know where that came from. Blah. Oh yeah, freaking, the Tengu chick. I cannot think of her name right now. It'll come to me eventually. But it was really funny because they were at the grocery store, because this is something I forgot to mention. They said aisle 5 had an extremely long line. And I was thinking, aisle 5, long line, what could be at the end of it? And then I said, uh-huh. And then when they showed it, I was like, there it is. Her and her ginormous knockers were at the front of the line. So every dude went in that line. See, now that's where I would have to disagree with this episode. I don't care how fine the chick is at the cash register. When I stand in the line. Especially if everybody's there and the other one's empty. Say goodbye to that. I'm out. But it was funny and it was nice to see. And also it was a fun way to introduce her to the episode with a lack of dialogue. Because she just ended up going home with them. It was... Oh, man. I'm telling you, this episode was perfect. I loved it. Oh, tell me what you guys thought about this. I will see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed this. Peace out and have a great day.